Right, so if you're LGD, you almost have to kind of divvy up your resources a little bit in terms of how much you want to focus on engaging versus actually peeling for your misfortune in the backline. Maybe play in the mid lane, and XQW does get hit up by that when it becomes lightning. 5v5 jumps in. It's going to be matched by a stolen away Azir ultimate, and now 5v5 in a lot of trouble. Shwo, though, lands a two-man knock-up. Here comes LP, one more auto. It's first blood for LNG. But now Xiaoya's here. One more auto attack onto 5v5 will make it a 1-for-1 trade. Ooh. And the abscond of Duck from XQW comes through, and he flashes away to safety. LGD coming out on top of that trade.
The opposing team into a rather low 5t5 at the start of the fight, but was shoving them towards his bot lane and ended up being big in the back half as that replay looking to be a little bit slow. We'll see if we get it in the end. Had the base after that second skirmish where he dove into the mid lane. Was able to get some health bars, but got a little bit too low himself as we return to line.
On the Skarner, who was the one who tried to force another play. Speaking of forcing plays, Xiaoya is dead in the mid lane. This time it's 5v5, the one to force the initiative alongside Zhuo. Meanwhile, the Dragon is still on the cards, as it was a 2-for-1 split of the grubs, actually, that we got during that replay.
Zika down. Try and contest this Dragon, which LGD looks like they want the fight. They do have ults up. Silas still has his ult coming up.
Oh,
LP forcing them out. That might be enough space. Yeah, Nayu's out. So looks like they're able to win over that Dragon. Still, a lot of members came down for this, and LGD have the opportunity to retake the map on the back half. So they ended up getting a lot of resources invested by LNG to secure that trade. Silas going to have to drop that wave, and we'll have to find an angle to join the fight at, whereas mid's the one angle where you can get to the first and try and secure these grubs. So, of course, 2-to-1 split on the first grubs. LNG looking to at least take one here. As LG looking to fight, that's a big engage here.
Yeah, the Excel's impact only lands on his row, no full stun, but there comes the Impale. It's on a 5v5, but he's able to flash away with the Crescent Guard. Knockup does connect, but he's still alive. Here comes the needlework, though, from Sasa, and now LGD have a big opportunity in this fight. Hao forced to flash over the wall with the exhaust going on top of it. Look at Zika, he's overheated into the back line of LGD, already taking down Xiaoya. LP is in the middle of everybody, trying to do as much damage as he can. Two-man knockup lands from Zro. LGD
XQW
somehow on still alive. Is an all-out brawl around the grubs, and it somehow is LNG coming out ahead of things. Here comes Zika, overheated again on the Rumble, finally getting shut down by Sasa. A wild, wacky fight that ends up, I think, 3 for 3 in totality. This is already more kills than LNG had in the entirety of their win against CDG.
That is true. That was an interesting game.
Yeah, maybe some more.
Yeah, Zika's got a hell of an angle.
XQW going to be singled out. The Dragon secured by LGD, but LNG wants a full fight. Here comes a bullet time, though. Haichao with a 3-man Emperor's Divide, combined with the knockup of Zhuo. LNG gonna get 2 kills already, as it's Zika picking himself up a double kill. Xiaoya the next to fall. It's 3-for-1 in favor of LNG.
A massive overcommit into LNG by LGD as the equalizer toasts everyone from Zika.
Fully engaged, especially with 5v5 in the area.
Yeah, I know that Zika has been quite good in this game for me, studs so far, but it's good to see Haichao playing well in these fights too.
Look at this.
This is ambitious.
Going very far forward onto Xiaoya, and 5v5
big TP.
fully hitting onto melee range up to his fortune. That'll take him down instantly. Now here comes XQW as the stolen away Xin Zhao ultimate combined with the Magnet of YCX. It knocks up 2. Here comes Zika, though, still overheated. 5v5 still alive. Haichao still alive as well. Nobody can take anybody on LNG down as the Silas will fall, and 5v5 escapes over the wall with a blast cone. 2 more kills for LNG.
As Otacon, pretty much full control here for LNG. Looks like they're just going to sack their bot outer to make sure they secure this one for themselves, which is looking pretty free in the map right now. So we take care from LNG.
Dragon up and available as well. As the teleport comes down from Haichao to catch that wave bot.
State where they don't want to take fights. I will say I don't blame them very much on that. Going into a 2-item rumble, nearly Nashers completed on the Haichao's Azir. I really feel like LGD waiting to get more items onto the Silas, and especially the Gwen, who is not yet at 2 items until they take a potential fight.
CW looks like maybe he was posturing for something. Stolen away the quickness with the hijack, so has the opportunity to do a little bit of extra damage on and all in. Speaking of all-ins, though, Haichao getting that bottom lane turret, but it looks on that tier 2 turret, forcing a teleport in from Zika.
Sauce playing hard for that. Managed to secure it. So nice pickup there across the map for LGD as like, again, really, I like the call from LGD. Haichao was no TP and showing bot with XQC. They show the match, XQW, I should say. Yeah, my bad there. I was thinking of...
my juicer's not in the LPL.
I was thinking of the FlyQuest Socials person, of course, you know. Yeah, shout out to Parker. Definitely not XQC. And should open up space for Salsa to make quick work of the spot out of turret.
And so now, with these false lives, LGD, they can play very aggressive up until right around the spawning of this X-Dragon. And LP and LNG have to be very, very careful, because even if they do find an engage that they like,
don't mind the preemptive burn there from 5T5. I really don't think they want to fight while the GAs from the Otacon are up. Of course, you're fighting with diminishing returns there if you are LNG.
This false life still exists for 30 seconds, so this is a good force here. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, XQW forcing LP down. He'll have the ability to get back in a little bit, but yes, no teleport available, so it'll be a long walk back from the fountain. YCX going in here with the Magnet Storm. 5T5 doesn't have that ultimate available just yet. Sasa with the needlework looking to try to burst down Haichao. He dashes away from the Emperor's Divide. And it means that there is no blood being shed, just the one false life available or taken away from XQW.
Wait a minute. Dragon spawning, you know they have to base. Just like, okay, are they going to be lazy about this reset? I feel like that, like, there was more opportunity there to actually snag that Baron, but of course, LNG, they do play that smart. They do scout out the Baron that's being taken, and that gets dropped by LGD, so no Dragon for them. Of course, his hijack was also on cooldown there. So a bit of a mistake from XQW, who I feel like could have played to not all in and just played the chunk. It could have been better, but
as we say that, though, he charms up 4 people with the stolen away quickness. The bullet time doing a lot of work, and LP caught in the middle of nowhere. But there comes Haichao with 3-man Emperor's Divide into the tier 2 turret. 5T5 doing some damage to when becomes lightning as well, but there's not enough damage to take down any members of LGD, so they just lose LP in the fight.
You take here. No ults on either team. I think that's a scenario where surprisingly like Rumble might really thrive.
But 5T5, he gets shoved right back in. There's the crash down. The jungler for LNG is down. That should now be an easy Baron take for LGD.
I actually think there's a world there where like LNG can kind of use their range, pick and poke, and try and make something happen. But 5T5, of course, did mention Silver Spells being down for LNG. That's a big one. Down was found, and now Smite down means that this Baron likely to fall for LGD. They're looking for the turn hard.
LP has 2 items. He has respawn.
Threatening the turn.
Just to get the Baron taken down, so
they don't want the turn. Okay. On this MF, just with the Starter and the Rel being able to open up some space for him. Also, XQW making some good work, but at the moment, LGD just got to continue to tick the right boxes. Inner turret falls mid. All eyes set on this inner turret bot. I think ideally for LGD, they want to either play this Baron out to the max duration and then take Dragon on exit, or you threaten a reset now and set up your mid and bot wave as well to make sure this Dragon goes over for free.
Very far behind. Resets were already deployed, and so it looks like LGD fighting for this Dragon, but actually in the meantime, it's XQW once again going very far forward, popping that ultimate to be as aggressive as possible. Speaking of ultimates, there comes Sasa with the needlework combined with the bullet time. The Wombo combo finds 5T5. Zika forces to go golden underneath the Sun Disc. Knockup lands just on XQW, but it does mean that Zika will survive. The Dragon up in 2, and he will have his teleport to try to join, but I think they will just give it up and allow for LGD to deny that soul.
Really wondering in that fight if there was a better angle for LNG to maybe fight back, as 5T5 very far up and XQW getting the party started. I gotta say, I think Joe burned his ult pretty early. There's no way you're gonna combo down a Silas. I actually do think that's a mistake coming out of Nio, but still, as long as the team play is good enough for LGD, it feels like this game is in their hands. This Gwen has started to shred through that Baron, and LNG are unaware.
They're very slow to this play. I mean, I don't even know if they realize that it's getting slowly bursted down to 0. Yeah, already secured by LGD, and XQW was buying so much time in this front line, and now pops that stolen away Crescent Guard and looks to go in onto the LNG backline. 5T5 trying to do the same, but he's not as tanky as that Silas, and so has to back out. We're now in a bit of an awkward situation here for LNG. They're on the blue side of the map trying to push this mid wave in after the Baron has already been secured by LNG. YCX, though, might have gone a little bit too far forward. There comes the bullet time, though, and Xiaoya takes Ro down. Now a 4v5 across the map. Haichao has to go forward, has to make a play, but will not find anything here. LP now forced to Valk. There's the stolen away Silence ultimate, and that's going to be all 5 down for LNG. A clean ace picked up for LGD off the Baron, and they should be able to march down this top side and pick up game number 1.
And for how well so many things went for LNG in the early game, sadly this game just comes crashing down upon them like so many others have in the LPL this split, as they don't figure out that LGD is bursting down the Baron. And the setup for the fight is pretty abysmal for them, as they were really just caught on the wrong side of the map, the wrong side of the fight, and LGD clean wipe, take game one.
For one last big team fight, it was LGD.
See a lot of Ryze plus Nefiri. For me, this kind of hits that same logic where we can provide the route, the CC, for the Nefiri to get into the fight.
So
can win the smite ward.
Collapse angle here. It's going to probably be a 50-50 in terms of who can land that smite first, but it actually gets picked up by Nio, even though 5T5 tried to drag it away in terms of getting that vision out. And here comes XQW. He lands the Rune Prison, and that's now Nio picking up first blood.
That's a brutal start for LNG again. The early game going to be important for them. Important that 5T5 is
burning all those resources in the full HP bar out of Xiaoya, but instead he's also going to beat down a little bit. They're going to match it up by trying to go for this dragon. However, you now see Xiaoya and YCX coming back from base down to the bottom side, so I don't think they want to contest this, but now he's just going to farm and think out instead.
Honestly, it's kind of an oopsie coming out from LGD, because they're sending their bot lane bot after dragon was taken. All right, they end up getting out of this one okay, as they walked up the Nico, pressured out mid, and going to make sure they get at least 2, and looks to be all 3 of the grubs. I was a little bit concerned when I saw the bot lane walking bot, but LGD able to fix it by having YCX do a little bit of cross-country hiking across Summoner's Rift.
There'll be 6 grubs for LGD if they get all 3 of them here. So get the first one, and no contest here for 5T5, so gets this early game focus composition for LNG. LGD pick up all 6 grubs. You're going to have a ton of good of pushing power now.
Who in the last sequence scrapes do nothing and end up not getting anything because of it. And I don't really know like what they want to do with their comp. I feel like it runs out of gas over time, because this poke Varus is just not going to be valuable later on. You could have to fight these objectives, or maybe find an angle which could be huge for something like a Scion.
Oh, here comes YCX. 2-man Pop Blossom. Go didn't even realize it was him. He's just going to go down so quickly as the first kill goes over to LGD. And with that being a 4v5, should almost certainly mean the Rift Herald goes over to the red side.
Yeah, look at the responses for LGD. They have 2 TPs to none. They use them to get a pick and get a positive play, right? So the 3-lane pressure and that side lane pressure pretty much pays off in forcing LNG to TP to catch waves. And I mean, they use their TPs instead to get a neutral objective and could potentially set up for the other one. So the TPs just get so much more value off of LNG, for me, really playing into the game that LGD wants them to play, which is play out these 3 lanes and make sure that their side lanes are strong, they scale up and enter the fights big and at advantage, because they have push.
Side lane, another part of this, with the Ryze specifically, that we haven't really gotten a chance to talk about.
I love this response too. Like, screw the dragon. You just used like your entire play to impact the top side. So just continue to commit to the top side. What do? They take top outer for free with the Ryze. They're going to take mid outer and get a double crash with this Herald, because it's being taken while Dragon was focused by LNG.
Oh, we're going
and this
top.
might be a very creative one. Can we bend it like Beckham on the way?
No.
Okay, not quite. Not quite for Nio. That's
keep up
not going to be a second charge.
Gotta retake your test next week.
Yeah. Still, it is at least
still get the tower. And now the question is, can LNG find a fight now on the back end of things? LGD try to escape.
Any and all proactivity they could have on the map, like for waves, which is just not work. Now
just like walked out of the bush until we got spotted out. It's a depth charge onto Xiaoya, so with the Ragnarok already unavailable for Nio, actually forcing the flash away. The response though will be the Pop Blossom from YCX. Public Institution though from Sasa is massive onto this backline, but he gets hooked up. He will get taken down, and that's the first reset picked up here for LNG. 5v5 in the Ambessa body, maybe looking for a little bit more, dashing forward. Find that Heartbreaker, but not going to connect onto a target. Now Xiaoya could be the next focus. Sika doesn't have the ultimate to try to close the gap, and so we'll just walk him back down underneath his turret. The eye's bigger than his stomach there on that play.
Still, at least with the 6 grubs, he's able to clean up this side lane on the exit. And again, LGD continue to keep this game stable.
Very hard to try to fight this in a 5v5. Dragon's already getting taken low. I think that's already going to just be secured by LGD. So another objective, kind of giving it over for free. The response is a mid-wave getting crashed in, but there's no opportunity to take this turret down. So LNG gonna have to just back away, as I think the side laning for LGD helping them set up around these objectives and be able to get them that first one.
The thing I'm looking out for in the next fight, because I think that if LGD do get that scenario where OPLoLReplay gets to play the fight how he wants to, things go a lot better. As Zika has flash.
Might get caught out here. Already has used the ultimate and the flash, as both those
burn.
engaged tools down. And I think this Sion's just a little bit dead, as Sasa is the one to pick up that kill. Baron not available for another 37 seconds, so not going to be able to turn towards that one, but LGD find another time.
He doesn't care. He's
XQW.
walking forward.
He just face taking everything right now. Has to pop that arm guard already here. YCX looking for the engage. The Proto Belt not closing the gap enough. So that's a couple of big cooldowns already used, but now Xiao wants to go forward here. Dio flashing forward for the undertow as well. Here comes the fight in a 4v5, and it's pure evisceration for LGD, at least for now. The Arcane Storm, though, it will pick up a shutdown as LP and 5t5 looking potentially to find something, but no, Xiao flashes forward and secures the full ace.
That fight, just bad conditions for LNG. They're missing their big tank, and the re-engage from LGD, well, it didn't come from YCX. He got a couple big flashes out in the fight, specifically Zhuo and Haichao, that were followed up upon with the second re-engage from LGD, as Xiaoya really put the finishing stamp on that fight, and LGD looking to put the finishing stamp on this series. As this game 2 has been a bit slow, but again, a game that we feel like the pace has been in LGD's favor, and they're starting to cash that in here in the back half.
Yeah, slow pace was exactly what you were hoping for.
The same, and that goal lead, pretty big for LNG to overcome, Grapes, as this one looks to be cruising towards that 2-0.
Yeah, LGD looking a little bit more like the LGD that we were hoping to see going into Split 2. Of course, you could maybe attribute some of the lack of them being in group percent. Of course, it is a one weekend affair to try and just play out this little bracket that was set up. So
yeah,
if you don't have your best day, and if somebody else does have their best day, like WE I think kind of did, kind of just end up down here, but still opportunities for LGD to prove themselves. Remember, top 2 in your group are gonna still get a chance to play into the postseason, so you have an opportunity to get a best of 5 against one of the potential top teams fighting for that spot. As right now they're gonna try to make quick work of LNG and prove that they don't belong here in this game.
Sasa
already going in. Doesn't get hit up by the Deathbending Smash. Now, could be in trouble, as a reset coming through could be big, but they do have the Otacon resets. That means that none of those kills will be fully secured. Meanwhile, XQW just one-shots the Varus on the other side of things underneath the own tier 3 turret. It's a double kill picked up for Xiaoya, and now it's only 2 members alive, the solo laners here for LNG, trying to defend things alongside 5v5. Xiaoya going to continue to go forward. They still have the revives up, but they're not even going to need it at this point. Haichao goes down, and that should do it. It's another clean ace picked up for LGD in one of the most dominant games we've seen from them all season long. In under 28 minutes, in a 2-0, they will win the series over LNG.
Yeah, and disappointment for LNG, who I thought played a pretty decent game 1, but really had nothing going for them in that game 2.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.